Hi, I'm Leah Callum-Butler from CoinDesk, and I'm here today with John Patrick Mullen, who is the CEO and founder of the Layer 1 blockchain MANTRA, and Amira Sajwani, who is managing partner at DAMAC, which I believe is the largest private property developer in all of the MENA region. And she's also the founder of Pripco, which is a startup that's offering fractional ownership and digital mortgages. So super excited to be here. I've flown all the way to Dubai to learn a little bit more about a deal between MANTRA and DAMAC, which is to put $1 billion of real-world assets on the blockchain, which is incredible. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much.
But I guess where we could kick off our conversation, you know, this idea of tokenizing real-world assets, it's actually been around for a long time. It's not a new idea, but it's never really taken off. So I wanted to start there and ask you, why do you think it hasn't taken off? And why is this deal going to be different? Maybe you could kick us off, JP.
Sure. I mean, prior to founding MANTRA, I'd done some really early tokenization work back in 2019. We actually tokenized a professional basketball player's contract, and obviously timing wasn't right. But I think that's critically important, right? It wasn't the right time. You didn't have the right mind share that currently RWAs or tokenization are getting. The technology, frankly, wasn't there either, and the regulatory environment wasn't conducive in many places. So it just didn't work. So RWAs are not a new thing. We've had STOs and all these different other acronyms for years, literally years.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of at this place where it's literally the right place. I mean, here in the UAE, here in Dubai, is going to be the epicenter of where this all kicks off from, in my opinion. The right regulatory frameworks and conducive regulatory environment is also critically important. Again, really supportive here, more so than other places. The right technology, MANTRA, and also the right partners, such as DAMAC.
Yeah. And Amira, you've been in this space, I think you've been thinking about tokenization, fractionalization for a long time. How do you think about that in terms of this being the right time for this kind of project?
So I think it's the perfect time, not only because Dubai and the UAE has a massive spotlight on it at the moment, and everybody wants to be part of this journey, part of this story. And of course, everybody has a different capability of what their entry or ticket to exposure, specifically into real estate, can be. And so I think by allowing people to enter at a much lower entry point and by tokenizing and fractionalizing properties, that opens a whole new door to a new audience that would love to be exposed to Dubai's market, Dubai's story, Dubai's energy, and today doesn't necessarily have the capacity to do so. So I think, like John said, the timing today is very mature and accurate, as well as the regulatory framework coming in place. I think that's a big aspect, and Dubai and the UAE have been nothing but supportive in all aspects of innovation across all industries, and so this is something that they would more than welcome and support in terms of something new, innovative, that gains traction, and we could set that precedent for global markets.
I'd love it if you could break that down for me just a little bit more. How will this actually redefine investor participation? I guess particularly for those retail investors, international investors that are desperate to get a slice of the Dubai property market, which is so hot right now. What does that actually look like going forward? And I guess as a follow-up to that, why did DAMAC choose to partner with MANTRA to facilitate all of this?
So that's a great question. So through Pripco, my startup that does already fractional ownership for real estate, we are regulated by the DFSA. So we are a regulated entity, and we've already have experience with fractionalizing real estate. And we've seen big traction on that. There are people, our entry point to enter into real estate is 500 dirhams, which is $150 plus minus. And we've had huge traction. And in fact, what surprised me was that our average ticket actually ended up being much higher. So our average ticket ended up being $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 per client per investment that they come in on, which shows you that there is market for it, there is demand. Now, moving it on to tokenized assets, the only difference that would be there is currently, in order to fractionalize a real estate, you put in an SPV, and you're essentially selling the shares of that SPV. Tokenization allows for more transparency and far more efficiency because you're going directly to the actual title deed of the property, and you're skipping, certain aspects of having to do it through a special vehicle, etc., etc. And to come back to why we chose MANTRA, I think MANTRA was the best option and the best choice for us out there. I did explore many other chains before making the decision. I've been, into tokenization for a while, and I did spend quite a bit of time with John understanding not just their technology, because I think technology is, of course, very important. But for me, the team is equally as important. Having a team that we can call, that we can rely on, that can be there for us when we're, exploring the possibilities together, finding solutions, putting together not just governance, but the flows, the journeys, and really has the same vision alignment as us in terms of not just the growth, but the presence and delivery to what clients expect. I think that was very important for us, and we're very comfortable with the Mantra team.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I think I can give a little bit of personal experience, not talking about the fractionalization part, but the access part.
Yeah, please do.
I'm an American. I live in Hong Kong. Spend a lot of time here in Dubai. I don't own any property. I will soon. Definitely some DAMAC and some Pripco properties for sure. But one of the biggest barriers to entry for me was I've been in the crypto space, bought my first Bitcoin in 2013. So I've been digitally native for a very, very long time, or tokenized native for a very, very long time. I don't really have a lot of interactions with the real world banking system. Like legitimately, I probably have like $2,000 in my US bank account. Like not a whole lot of money.
Can't relate, yeah.
So if I would even go to try to get a mortgage in many places, they would laugh me out of the room.
Yeah.
Right? So the ability for me to actually take where my wealth is stored, which is on-chain in a tokenized native format, and then allow me to actually subscribe and participate in this new investment opportunity is huge. So I say a lot, like I've been building Mantra for myself. The things that we're doing with real world assets and tokenization is because it would help me. And I'm coming from a privileged point of view as a middle classer and Westerner. But imagine if you're from a different part of the world that doesn't have the same privileges that I do. It makes it even more of a game changer. And again, I think one of the reasons why we're fortunate to work with Amir and the DAMAC team is having that right partner and stakeholder who really can get the interest of everyone from the entire stack of government to regulators to capital to end user is critically important. So it is important that we've been forming this relationship for some time. I was telling you before we started, I think we met in March. So this is like something that's been a long time in March of last year. So this has been a long time in progress. And when we first met, she was grilling me about all these things from governance to how this is going to work. Why are you so special? Why is your layer one different? Which are all valid questions and all valid points. But over time, we've developed a very strong relationship, and we're very excited that now we can finally tell the world about it.
Yeah, and I love these themes that are coming out around accessibility and inclusion and improving, say, democratization of these markets. I guess coming back to Dubai, because you mentioned that quite a few times in terms of how this is such an important place for this to be happening. We know that Dubai has taken a leadership position in terms of being a jurisdiction that promotes and embraces blockchain. With this collaboration between Mantra and DAMAC, do you think that this could become a case study? Maybe other global property markets will look to this in terms of how to do tokenization properly.
For sure, I think Dubai has already set the stage for a lot of different, industries and being the first in doing many different things. And I think this can definitely become another thing that, they take the torch forward with. And I think that's what you need. You need one really great product and a supportive regulatory system to just make it work. And then it becomes something that everybody strides towards.
Yeah, I think from our experience, having literally looked at doing these type of opportunities in many different places since back in 2018, 29 days, we were initially exploring the U.S. market. I'm based in Hong Kong, so that's obviously a place we looked. We literally went all over the world to figure out where we could actually do this. And the UAE and Dubai just became the place that made the most sense after exploring all these various options. And I think it also stems from the fact that literally the nation's focus is to be innovative and push forward and forward thinking. I'm embracing technology, supporting entrepreneurship, and you just don't get that everywhere. And honestly, I think that top-down support is really, really critical. You're starting to see it in the U.S. a little bit more now with the administration shift. I mean, people are like, the U.S. is going to be the hub again. Obviously, these things take time, but from our experience, it has been a very worthwhile endeavor, spending time here, building relationships here, getting to know folks like Amir and DAMAC here, because you have every level of support that you just don't see in many other places. And honestly, there is a lot of capital here, and there's a lot of high quality assets, which when you can bring those two things together into a very high quality product, that's where the magic happens.
Just one final question on that. I guess the local regulatory landscape must play into that a lot.
Yeah.
And I know here that the regulators are seen as some of the most innovative in the world. So how did that local landscape kind of play into this and allow you guys to remain so innovative?
I mean, I think when literally, I remember this road show I did in 2022, and I started in the U.S. and then went to Switzerland, and then I went to Dubai, and then Abu Dhabi, and then Singapore, and then back to Hong Kong, and literally had meetings with. Actually, I went to Liechtenstein as well. I went to all these different places, and the one that kind of was the shining star was the UAE,
Wow.
and it was just seeing that they were, maybe they don't have the exact framework for all these things yet. And frankly, they don't. These are all new, innovative technologies, innovative procedures and processes. But they're willing to listen. They're willing to, engage in a conversation and learn. Where, in other places, hey, they'll invite you for coffee, but then nothing happens. So, the ability to actually do something, work on pilots, and do something that's literally game-changing together with the support is unique to here, in my opinion.
Has that been your experience too?
For sure. I mean, I'm definitely biased being from here, but I think that it's one of the very unique places to be in order to do something like this.
Well, it's an incredible partnership. I'm super excited to see what you guys do together in 2025. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with me and chat to the CoinDesk viewers. And we'll be certainly keeping an eye on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.